Hello, RYOBI Nation. I'm here with my friend Sam, and we are in the RYOBI Nation DIY workshop for the first ever lunchtime build. We know that times are different right now. You might have a little extra time at lunch and have your tools around the house. Let's build something special together. So we're going to start off with this DIY coat rack and mail center. You can see here it's a very easy build. The plans are on RYOBI Nation, and we're going to link them at the end of this, but we're excited to get into it. So Sam, let's first talk about all the tools that are used for this build.
Yeah, absolutely. So for this build, the first set that we have for you to build this with is our starter kit that has our 1/2 inch drill as well as a 5.5 inch circular saw. This is $129 in Home Depot. The next two tools that we have for you are going to be our 5-inch random orbit sander, which is $44.97, and then our Airstrike brad nailer, which is going to be $129, all available in Home Depot and on homedepot.com.
Awesome, and the first tool we're going to use is our circular saw. So Sam's going to walk us through some safety features with that tool, and then we're going to get started. First, let's talk about the different materials that are needed for this project. So it's very simple. The benefits here are, hey, if you're at the house, you have some scrap lumber around, you can really modify this project to fit what you have on hand. If you're going to the Home Depot to pick up materials, you're going to need a 1x10, you're going to need a 1x5, and a 1x2. Those come in 6-foot sections, so a little smaller. You can also get them cut down there at the Home Depot if you have a smaller vehicle and don't want to have to lug those in the back of a truck. So awesome benefit there. So let's go ahead and get started with our circular saw. And Sam, if you will, walk us through some safety.
Awesome. First things we want to make sure for safety are safety glasses on for any time you're going to be using any power tools. And then ladies and rock stars, we're going to make sure we put our hair up to keep safe, again, with any of our tools. So with circular saws, we know that this might be a little bit of an intimidating tool, and we want to make sure you feel safe and ready to use these. The first things that we want to make sure as we're adjusting the saw, the battery is not in. Anytime you're going to be messing around with the blade, the base, anything like that, you want to make sure that battery is out and set aside for you. When we use circular saws, we want to make sure that the blade is at the right depth for the material we're using. RYOBI saws are going to have a little knob on the side, which allows us to adjust the depth of that blade. We want to make sure that we've got about 1/2 gullet's worth of the blade below, and then we're going to lock that into place, and it's going to be ready for the depth of our material. And that's really to maximize efficiency as well as safety when you're using the tool. We also want to make sure as we're getting set up that the motor is over the clamped side of the material. This is going to help with stability, and it's going to help you get a nicer cut as you go through. We've already measured and made a line for our cut, so that's on here. And as I go through, I'm going to use this little guide here that's at the 0. That 0 is for when you're making a straight cut, you're not making any bevel. If you were beveling with the cut, you would have this 45-degree mark as well. Last thing, before we make the cut, as you go through and you come to the end, you want to make sure the blade is fully stopped and is not spinning anymore before you remove it from the material. It's going to help you get a cleaner cut and, again, maximizing safety. So once we're ready, we're going to butt up against the material, pull back about 1 inch because the blade has to be fully spinning before you pull the trigger. They all have a little safety button right here. You're going to push that in, which releases the lock on the trigger, pull the trigger, and go. So once you're all set, we'll put the battery in the tool,
Awesome.
Get ready to go. I'm going to, again, butt up against the material, pull back a little bit, pull safety, and go. Again, we're waiting till it stops, and then we're pulling off the material.
Awesome, and that first cut is on the 1x10. That's going to be the back of our material for the DIY coat rack. The next piece we're going to cut is going to be the 1x5, which is that front facing. So we've done 23 inches on the back. We're going to do 21 inches on the front piece so that it's slightly inset. I'm going to hand that over to Sam, and she's going to get us all clamped up. The key to the One Plus system is really the battery. So every tool that you see us use today is going to run off of the 18-volt One Plus battery. We're excited to announce we're officially over 175 tools in the system. So in addition to the tools you see today, we have lifestyle tools like radios. We just introduced some brand new cleaning tools that are available in stores. We have radios, we have all your power tool needs, and then we have some awesome lawn and garden tools for your lawn care maintenance. So we'll pass the same battery off. We're going to use the circular saw again for our next cut.
Absolutely, and again, we already adjusted the depth of the saw, so we're good to go here, same depth of the material.
Awesome, so we just cut that front facing, and now the final cut we're going to do is on this under piece that gives us the stick out and the depth we need in order to house that male within the carrier itself. And so the final cut is on a piece of 1x2. Again, this is at the 21 inches, so that smaller cut for us. And again, we're going to do the same 18 volt 1+ circular saw running off the same battery.
Perfect. Last cut for us here.
Perfect. Now the next step, now that we've done all of our cuts, is going to be sanding. So it would be cleaning off the edges, and let's go ahead and just show how we would clean on that one.
Absolutely. With our sanders, the button is going to be a push button up here, so you want to make sure it's on the 0 and not on before you put the battery in, or it's just going to start spinning when you get that battery. So it's on the 0 for me, and then you're going to want to make sure you're against your material before you turn it on so it doesn't kind of fly away from you. Alright, you can sand it down as much as you need to get the material where you want it before you stain.
Perfect. Now, in TV magic form, we have some pre-sanded, pre-stained pieces here that we'll move forward in the project with. So you will be able to customize this piece based on the decor of your home, whether you want to go with a dark stain or a lighter stain to match. And the next part is going to be assembly. So the first thing we're going to do is mark on the back where we want to pre-drill our holes. So I have gone ahead and marked there using a cheat with the wood to protect our table as well as ourselves. We're going to clamp that down. And Sam, do you mind passing me the drill driver?
Absolutely. And again, same battery, and we've got our drill bit in here.
Awesome. So we're going to pop that in, make sure we're in forward, and we're just going to put about 5 holes here pre-drilling. And we're going to make sure our bit is nice and tight in there. Board from really splitting on us and making sure those screws go in nice and clean into our support board. So the next portion of the build is going to be attaching the under piece. We're going to flip the board over, and we have gone ahead. You can see your pre-drilled holes in the front, so we are going to go ahead and clamp that piece down as well. Clamped on this side.
Yeah, and then we'll clamp on this other side, making sure it stays in place.
Alright, we're going to flip this over, and we're going to switch from our drill bit over to our driver bit. 1/2-inch chuck, so any of your drill bits or driver bits that you see in the store for wood materials and metal materials are going to fit right in here. And we're going to drill in our screws.
But if you start in the middle here, you can also release the clamps after the fact and get those ones on the end without needing your fingers to be right in it.
And just a couple more.
This is where we can release the clamps, and that should already be stabilized on there.
Call that.
All right, we're good.
All right, so the next step is going to be putting the wood glue on and attaching the front-facing board that we see here. Make sure the glue comes out. Perfect. Just a dab of wood glue.
Go. And you don't need too much when it comes to wood glue, so just a little bit across this.
A little dab will do you. That was always like the elementary school saying. I used to be heavy-handed on the glue, apparently.
Awesome. All right, and that'll just take about a minute. If you just hold it, it's going to dry a little bit for you, and then we'll clamp the rest of it before we use our brad nailer to attach.
We do have a support board here, and we can go ahead and show. This is the Airstrike brad nailer, 18 gauge. Real big benefit here is that you don't have the compressor, you don't have the hoses. So a much easier process than your traditional pneumatic nailer. All runs off that same 18-volt battery. And you'll see, light illuminated. All right. And then again in TV magic, we're going to switch out with the piece that has the hooks on it. So as you can see, this is great for the entryway. You can vary how deep your hanging is there. And then you just have to decide which hooks match your decor. So whether you're in a brushed nickel, you're in a bronze, whatever you want to match in your home, go ahead and apply those. Again, available in the hardware aisle at the Home Depot. The tools we use today, Sam, we talked about the combo kit with the drill and the circular saw. The other two tools we showed today are part of our Buy More, Save More event going on right now at Home Depot and at HomeDepot.com. With those, you can save $15, $30, or $50, depending on what you spend, and that's on batteries and chargers, as well as bare tools right there in the store. Sam, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do every day? So we have reps nationwide ready to help you, and Sam's going to talk you through what you can expect when you visit them in stores.
Absolutely. So we have RYOBI reps in Home Depots across the country, and they're there to help you. They're there to help you pick out the tools you need to complete any of these projects that you find on RYOBI Nation or things you want to do around the house. And they're also going to help you out with some of these builds as well. We have new teams that are in stores now that are doing builds just like this on their sales tables every day, so they can help you get some DIY inspo, as well as maybe have some plans that you can grab off of their tables and do some little mini DIY projects at home and get some more virtual workshops in right in your living room.
Awesome. So our aim is to be back with you in store sometime soon and be able to do these DIY builds. But in the meantime, we're very thankful you joined us today for this virtual DIY build. More to come. Let us know what you're looking forward to. What different builds would you like to see? Go over to ryobitools.com/nation for hundreds of DIY projects inspired to get you using the tools that are already in your tool catalog. So with that, Sam, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're an expert here building. I can't wait to get this up in my house. We've ended up with two, so
There
you
we
can have
go.
one, I can have one, and we're all set. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and thank you for being part of RYOBI Nation.
Happy building.